Hello all. Today our topic is Jean-Francois Lyotard. He is a famous post-modern thinker. Most important work of Lyotard is the postmodern narration, a report on knowledge. According to him, knowledge has become a commodity and a means of empowerment. And this knowledge is communicated through narratives. We are given knowledge through the help of narratives. So what is narratives? Narratives are stories that are told to us. That means the information or knowledge which we are receiving from many books or our religious heads or political leaders, all these are considered as narratives. For example, Taj Mahal is constructed by Shah Jahan, the great emperor Shah Jahan. Actually, this is a type of knowledge, but in other ways, we can say that this is a type of narrative, a narrative about the art and great art and architecture style of Mughal period. Knowledge is communicated through narratives. This is what Jean Lyotard is saying. So he's completely against the thinking of modern thinkers that because modernist people or the people or the thinkers after the period of 1900 believed that that society has an order and stability and unity, and the thinkers in that modern period tried to project the order of the society through meta narratives. So again, Lyotard is explaining about meta narratives. This meta narrative is otherwise called as grand narratives. So what is grand narratives? Grand narratives or meta narratives are a type of these are stories which are told to people to teach them culture, and through this culture they and this culture is and this culture giving knowledge to the people by using narratives. In simple way we can say that modernist thinkers tried to say that the society during those period has an order, and society maintained law and order. They maintained human rights. There were no problems in the society, and they are trying to say this through meta narratives, like uh, giving many wrong knowledge or wrong impressions. So here Lyotard says that all these meta narratives about society which are given by modernist thinkers are absolutely wrong. They are false and incomplete. These meta narratives or grand narratives are stories which are told to people to teach them culture, and by teaching the people a kind of culture, these writers or those political leaders of that period are trying to give a type of knowledge, and this knowledge included a type of ideology. For example, Nazism, during 1930s, Nazism reached its peak, and Adolf Hitler used this doctrine or this ideology of Nazism to control others. The Nazism is the best example for narrative. Postmodern thinkers questions and deconstructs this type of meta-narratives, because these meta-narratives are going to tell us false and incomplete truths. These meta-narratives are belief systems which are ideologies made to control other people. That means these meta-narratives are kind of ideologies used to control others. So, what postmodern thinkers says is that these type of meta-narratives are wrong. These these meta-narratives give only wrong informations, and through these wrong informations, some people are trying to impose or exercise their power over others. For this purpose, they used some kind of ideologies. For example, Nazism in Germany, and again in Russia, Stalin used the ideology of Marxism to control others. That is also a type of meta-narrative. So, postmodern thinkers are absolutely against this meta-narrative, because they says that these meta-narratives are false and incomplete. Every society makes a meta-narrative which is actually false. This is what Lyotard is saying. Society tries through this meta-narrative try to create order and unity in the country. So another example is religious institutions. Religion is also a type of meta-narrative, or and this religious heads are trying to control people through this concept of religion. This is also a type of meta-narrative. And other thing is political parties and the ideologies behind these political parties. They are trying to control others through this their ideology. That is also a type of meta-narrative. So postmodern thinker says that all this projection that the society is controlled through a law and order, and the human rights are protected in that society. All these are false. They are telling lies by using this meta narrative. The efforts of some people uh, to say that a particular society has not at all any problem. This is a false prejudice, and postmodern thinkers are completely against this. Another type of meta narrative is colonization. So Lyotard is saying that during when the problem of colonization started, that is West or Europe tried to penetrate or attack African countries. They have given the impression that all the African people are inferior to white people. All the African people are nomadic barbaric creatures. Actually, this is also a false belief, or a lie propagated by Western intellectuals. So Lyotard is saying that this is another example of meta narrative. So they have given the impression that it is the job of civilized West to civilize East. In order to colonize East, Western European people used the meta narrative that West is civilized. It is a duty of West to civilize the rest of the world. Through this, society try to hide the truth and maintain the political system. So, through these meta narratives, Western people try to justify their atrocities over other countries. So, postmodern thinkers support mini narratives. Mini narratives is it's not grand or meta narrative, but mini narrative is something different. Rather than meta narratives, postmodern thinkers favor mini narratives. Mini narratives are stories that explain small practices and local events. In this type of narrative, they are projecting or they are enjoying or celebrating the small events happens in the life of common ordinary people. In this one, they are not talking about any grand or universal truths. In this type of narratives, they are not talking about any ideologies or big things. They are talking only about small things. The best example is the films. Now they are showing um, in South Indian films. Now they are showing the ordinary life of common people, the day to day happenings in their life, their day to day, the mm, their sorrows, their laughs, their happiness. All these are projected in the films now. So this is the best example of um, mini narrative. In those films, they are not talking about any big houses or mansions or about any elite rich people. They are talking only about common people and the common happenings and events that happens in their life. This is what projecting in those films now. Postmodern thinkers realize that history, politics, and religions are grand narratives. These small stories, but in mini narratives, they are not preaching any universal truths. They are not pretending as the final thing. They are talking only about small practices, small things which happens in the life of ordinary people. This is what mini narratives, and post modernist thinkers are supporting these mini narratives. Thank you.